Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, and in this video we're going to go over the buffs to Sela and Sundance. I already assigned the rankings to these two sets, and they are the same as before: C rank for Sela, A rank for Sundance. The reason for that is that I adjusted the rankings of the other ignition weapon sets. But that hardly matters. I would say this tier list is purely subjective. It will depend on what you value the most. If you value survivability, if you value utility, if you value damage, it will vastly differ from person to person. I would say these first 5 sets can be considered S rank, to be honest. And the ones in B are a bit too situational, or like Rafflesia and Alocasia needing a buff, and they're going to be buffed next. So I expect them to go to A or even S tier. Rihanna, to be honest, they should move down to C, and then the rest is just whatever. I hope Mago, when it will be buffed, will move up to S or A rank, because I think that set has a lot of potential. But okay, this hardly matters. Again, entirely subjective. Let me know in the comments if you feel like I should move something, and we'll think about it. I will put more effort into it once all the buffs are complete. For now, let's focus on the buffs to Sela and Sundance, and let's start with Sela. So for the 2-piece, they increased the defense increase from 20% to 30%, and they added a 35 effect resistance. And also the unremovable condition, they're going to do that for every single ignition weapon. So that's good. It's not bad. It can work for units that scale on defense, and the effect resistance is always helpful for status effects and for evading debuffs. So that's good. Then the 4-piece is where it gets tricky, because I don't really like it. Before it was 6% per surviving enemy, now it's 12%. So from a maximum of 30% resistances, you can go up to 60% now, and they became unremovable. So that is good. Now, the issue is that resistances don't work. Like, resistances don't do anything once you are above like 300, 350 deficit. It will depend on your archive, but let's say 300. Starting from that point, you will see that your units, even if they are running resistances, they will still die. Except special cases like EX Urek, it can survive for a lot longer than that. But in general, at 300 deficit, your units will die even when they have resistances, and they will get one-shotted. So resistances are faulty to begin with. They're weak. They need to be reworked maybe a little bit. And I was expecting them to do something more to make this set viable. Like this is not really that great. Then the second part is that every time an enemy dies, you recover 20% HP that was already there, and you gain for 5 seconds a damage taken per hit cap to 5%. So for 5 seconds after an enemy dies, you will not take more than 5% of your max HP as damage. This sounds good on paper, but you won't kill anyone like this quickly for this to actually matter, and then you have to kill them every 5 seconds so that you can keep this buff up for a long time. So I don't like that at all. I think it's really bad. It was designed very poorly. Now, it's going to work perfectly fine if you are 250 deficit and below. If you are on a new account, you can use this set on literally any unit, and it will work great. Yes, but at the same time, like, it's not a set that is future-proof. It's not a set that you will use in the long term. It's not a set that you can really rely on that much. So I really don't like it. The only unit that can run this set at the higher deficit is just EX Urek. I tried it. It worked okay, because that guy has already a passive that will protect him. And when this 5-second proc, it will improve his durability. When it expires, it won't really kill him. The extra resistances work on him, because this way you can run something else on slot 4 instead of magic resistance if you were going with the hybrid resistance set. So it's okay. It does work. I prefer Runda, but it does work in general. It's okay. And yeah, except for him, there is really nobody where I would use this set. over Barry or over some of the other alternatives. I really do not understand the logic behind this. And also Ulrich can proc the damage taken cap because he himself can easily kill enemies, maybe not once every 5 seconds, but basically immediately can kill somebody, and this will give him enough survivability to get to the second special move and maybe kill somebody else and get to the third one. So it was okay. It felt good to use, but I did not even recommend it for Ulrich. He already had so many sets recommended. I didn't really want to add an additional one. I wrote it in the description for the unit, but nothing else. And as you can see here, is not best in slot on anybody. Can be used by, here is no one as an alternative. But again, if your deficit is below 200, 250, you can use it on anyone. Literally any unit that you can think of, you can run this set on. And as I wrote here, is useless if your deficit is higher than 300 or 350. It is what it is. I was hoping for them to take this approach. I could see that coming. Just the condition that it activates is annoying. If it was like 10-second at the start of the battle and then 5-second extension every kill, then sure, it could have been fine. Like this, not really. Not really. I don't like it. So yeah, that's it for Sela. Let's talk about Sundance now. And Sundance received a massive buff from my point of view. So for the 2-piece, it went from 30 accuracy to 50 accuracy and 12% basic attack pierce. And also, again, the unremovable condition. Now, the 12% basic attack pierce, I think it's a bit troll, to be honest. It's a bit stupid. Because they added max HP damage to it, having this focus on like attack is not really that great from my point of view. It's fine, but I think you can basically use Sundance only leveraging the max HP damage. So this basic attack pierce gets like a bit useless. It will be more damage on like a Kaiser, a VV, or attack scaling units, but is not really that helpful. It's fine. It's not like they could have added anything more useful. Maybe 35 affected. I would have preferred, but it is what it is. So it's fine. For the 4-piece, the first part is the same. So 20% defense ignore with basic attacks, and also additional 200% attack as damage. Then every 5 seconds for a maximum of 3 stacks, you're going to have a 1% max HP damage on your basic attacks as additional damage. This is massive. It can get up to 3% max HP per basic attack. That's a ton. That's really good. We have a lot of units that can deal a great number of basic attacks, but they never had much damage. This one will enable them to actually carry. Now, it does work. There are some units that can actually leverage it like crazy and deal great amount of damage. So I like this buff. It's sad that there is no survivability to it. Like compared to L, this has a ton more damage, but doesn't have the survivability that L provides. Doesn't have the, let's say, increased utility in the sense that you gain more energy because of the increased number of basic attacks. This is just pure damage for basic attack damage dealing units, and it's not even like you don't even need to run it on a DPS. You can run it on any unit that gets an increase in attack speed, or if you're really desperate, on any unit, period. So that's really good. It's really valuable from my point of view. I liked using it on a lot of scenarios. We're going to cover some of them now as we go through the units that can run it. But I think this buff was really good. It is annoying to protect the carry that much, but I mean, it's fine. In some scenarios, we're already doing it. If you're running Sharon in a team, the carry can easily run this set, so that's fine. If you're running, I don't know, like SSR plus Yura and Kun combo, the carry can run this. If you're running Towa and Evan or those kind of units that can chain the special move, you can run this set on the carry. So it is possible. There are a lot of units now that can enable us to run more offensive sets. So I would say overall, I like this buff. And yeah, in terms of usage tips, I kind of already covered it. Here I also mentioned that units with AoE basic attacks obviously have an advantage. They can hit multiple enemies with the 3% max HP damage, so that's good. Or again, good amount of attack speed. And yeah, I also mentioned that you can run it on anyone if you need some extra damage, and it lacks survivability. So that's it. But literally, it can run on so many units. It's crazy. Now, these are the units where I explicitly set this set as either usable or best in slot. We're going to go through the best in slot units first. We have Amigo charts. Now, this was a bit of a surprise because as I was going through the list of all the units, I saw Amigo charts, and I remember that guy had attack speed in his kit. And I was like, okay, wait a minute, let me check him. And he has 120 attack speed when the special move is up. That's up basically all the time. It was really fun. It did work. I used him with Sharon to keep him alive. But again, you can use all the other units I mentioned before. And it was pretty solid because he could punch like crazy and the damage output was really good. So happy about his performance. I think he's better than some of the SSR plus DPSs. And that's stupid. But okay, so Amigo charts, great buff. Really appreciated it. Hard to keep alive because he's close range, but still pretty decent value. Then we have Gietang. Now, this chicken has also a lot of attack speed in his kit. He has 2 times a 120 attack speed increase. Not up all the time, but quite useful when it is. I still was not that pleasantly surprised about his damage. It was somewhat okay. I think in general his kit is too poor to be actually valuable. It felt worse than Amigo Charles somehow, but I also did not use Sharon with him, so that's probably why. But yeah, in general, you can obviously leverage it. All he does is basic attacks, and he has attacks within his kit, so that's good. Then we have Red Mask Warion. This one was great. To be honest, one of the best users of Sundance. She has an active skill cooldown pause when she applies like crowd controls with skills and basic attacks. That's super valuable already. She has a silence every, I think, third basic attack for 1 second, and she gains attack speed after the first, I think, 10 basic attacks. Then she gains attack speed and she goes crazy. Overall, the kit is good, is valuable, and adding Sundance on top really makes her deal a shit ton of damage. I managed to kill a Shia and Revolution Bomb comp in, well, okay, it was in trials, so my deficit was only like 300, but still, that was surprising. She carried that fight, and I won in like 20 seconds. I was like, how? How could I kill Shia and Revolution Bomb and the other three in 20 seconds with a single target DPS? It was crazy. And also, yes, the deficit was low, but this is max HP damage. We don't care about deficit. So in theory, that could have worked anyway. And the active skill cooldown pause can make it so that also Shia can be countered by her. So I think I will definitely increase the ranking of Warion because of the synergy she has with Sundance. Super hard to keep alive. We have to say that. So it was a bit tricky. I had to run, also in this case, Sharon. I tried without Sharon. I went with Albelda, Bam, and Evan to try and keep it more free to play friendly. And it did work, but it was clearly weaker than Sharon, unfortunately. But yeah, in general, I really appreciated the performance increase on Warion. I recommend you guys to try it out because it was really, really cool. Then we have Ju, also similar performance increase. Really, really great because she has good survivability on her own. She has a very long conceal, and her attack speed is insane. So this Sundance can be used very easily on Ju, and really, really decent performance. I think you can easily use her as a carry for your green element. Great, great buff. Then we have Kaiser. She's the queen of basic attacks, and she also was pretty much heavily buffed by the Sundance buff. I think you can use her now. It's just the same issue with Kaiser that you have to keep her alive, but her burst damage is a lot higher now, so it's justifiable to invest resources to keep this unit alive. So why not? She's really, really good. Then we have Kun Hatzling. He also has, from Revolution 5, 200 attack speed increase, which is valuable, but he has a bit too many animations. Not a huge deal. It still works fine. Better than Gyatang, better than Amigo charts, better than, well, some of the next ones. So it's okay. I just don't think that is relevant enough in the blue element to be considered. Revolution Bomb is kind of better than him. Dawon depends on your deficit. Also, Revolution Bomb, let's say, depends on your deficit. So if you're going probably 600 deficit plus, maybe Hatzling is better than them. But 600 and lower, I would say Revolution Bomb and Dawon are better than Hatzling. So it kind of depends. Then we have Paracule. This guy seems a meme, but I would say he's better than White now. So if we take any of these, including Amigo charts, and you protect them, I would say they're better than than White at higher deficits. And that's a bit sad, but also funny. So if you really are struggling and you're playing at 400 deficit or so, you might give Paracule a shot over White if you were running White, because White 400 deficit is garbage. So that's something you can do, or try Amigo charts. They can work with Sundance, you just need to protect them, kind of like White. You might say, well, then why don't I use White with Sundance? And you can. The thing is that he's stuck in animations a lot more than these two guys. And these two get an attack speed increase from their kit. White doesn't. But you can run SSR Yura with White that will give him an 80 attack speed. So in that case, yes, sure, he's better than Paracule. Probably better than Amigo charts. I wouldn't be too sure because Amigo charts gets 120 attack speed. But still, I mean, you can make White work with Sundance as well. It's not here in the list. It can work. Anybody can work with it. There are just some units that are have kits that can synergize with Sundance a bit better. Then we have Compressed Rock. This guy, not a fan of Sundance on him, but he has attack speed increase on his kit. It can kind of work, so why not? He's one of the good users, but not insane. Then we have Vivi. She can benefit from the 80 attack speed from Yura as well, but she also has attack speed on her own. So Vivi, 100% better than White at higher deficits now. Really good stuff, and you need to keep her alive. That's the issue with Sundance. I'm not going to repeat it again because, I mean, that's pretty clear. But yeah, Vivi got a great buff. Definitely her best set. Then we have some great units here that could run it, that could run Sundance. I would still say other sets are better, but they definitely can run it and they might be really strong with it. Akraptor, to be honest, I should move to best in slot, even though it doesn't have any attack speed increase. That's why he's only here. But for him, it is better than L, because if you run L on a Craptor, sure, you can keep him alive, but it won't kill anybody. If you run Sundance, he will struggle to stay alive, but it can kill somebody. So definitely there is that to consider. I will probably make a change here and set as best in slot Sundance for a Craptor. Then we have Augustus. Now he has survivability on his passive, so you could run Sundance without worrying too much. And Sundance will be a damage increase because he can spam basic attacks pretty well. So that's fine. He also has attack speed increase, or was it swiftness? One of the two. But either way, he's going to spam more attack speed, more basic attacks thanks to that. So Sundance is a valuable set on Augustus. when you're facing tanky units that you cannot really get through with just spamming the special move, you can run Sundance and it will likely kill the target. So it's valuable, it's good. It will kind of decrease his durability, but as said, he has a decent passive, so why not? Then we have Cha. Cha can run Sundance. His basic attacks are AoE, and that's pretty cool. He has an attack speed increase for the first 10 seconds, which is sad. If it was for longer, it would have been way better. But still, it's usable. I'm personally running Mago, and I think after the buff, Mago will be better. But for now, Mago is kind of weak because it also does not offer any sort of survivability, and the damage increase is okay, but definitely not comparable to a 3% max HP damage. So I think at the moment, Sundance is likely the best damage dealing option, but you might want to run maybe L for survivability or Barry for some extra survivability, even though he has an hit barrier. So kind of up to you. Sundance can be considered, and it's really solid. Then we have Edin Dan. I added it as a set for him because he has a lot of focus on swiftness, which also increase the frequency of basic attacks. So it can work on him. Now, is it good to use this guy? Not necessarily. I would say he's a bit weaker than Amigo charts, but it's viable. It didn't perform too poorly, but it's still a weak unit overall, so I would not recommend it. Then we have XSR plus Kaiser. Best in slot if you're going for DPS. Otherwise, if you're just going for support capabilities, then L is the best one. That's why I kind of left it as alternative, because I'm considering Kaiser as more of a support, at least XSR plus Kaiser. But if you give her Sundance, the performance will be similar to SSR plus Kaiser. So kind of up to you. If you pulled on her when she was when there was a banner, then you can give her a shot and try her out if you are lacking DPS options. Then we have Kun Mashini. Now, this might be her best set. She has a 7% max HP damage on basic attacks already. The issue is that takes a bit to scale off, and the other issue is that it seems to be bugged. It doesn't really work. So that 7%, if it was effective, L would be the best set for her. Now that it's kinda bugged, you can go Sundance. You will use the 3% max HP from Sundance and not really anything from a Revolution. And you won't have survivability. So I would say Sundance right now is better on Kumashini than L. But if a Revolution worked properly, L would be better, more comfortable, more easy to use. So right now, best in slot likely Sundance, but it's due to a bug. So I wouldn't really rely on that. Then we have Mew Love. He has attack speed increase and is really relying on basic attacks to deal damage. So Sundance was a really good buff for him as well. And I would say probably best in slot. I should have placed it as the best in slot set instead of the alternative. So I might make that adjustment. But yeah, I mean, it works well. I just think it's kind of at the same level as Gaetang, maybe a bit less, not a huge fan, but it does work. I would recommend you guys to go for Ju instead. Ju is way better than Mew Love with Sundance. But Mew Love is still decent. It's still a pretty solid pick for Sundance. Then we have Rachel. It's a shame that like Sundance can work that well on Rachel, because she is supposed to deal damage with her special move, which would make L the preferred pick. That's what I still left her. But if you run a Sundance now, it's more damage. That's just how it is. I don't personally like it. It's not insane damage because she does not have attack speed increase, but it's okay. I mean, if you want to use her, now you can with Sundance. Basically, you can use any unit that you like. You just give them Sundance and protection, and they will likely win. So, I mean, it's a bit also difficult for me to recommend this set. You can use it everywhere. It's just up to you. You like a unit, you give them Sundance, you give them protection, they will do the damage. It's just how stupid this set is. So I don't know. It's really tricky to add these recommendations. Then we have Verdi. She is stuck too much on this special move, so not the best, but she can also use SSR Eura for the extra 80 attack speed. She also has attack speed increase, so it's okay. She's a bit too stuck in animations. Then we have Viol. It also works on him. I was not too happy about the performance somehow. It was still a bit too slow. I did not go full red team because at that point, absorbability was a bit of an issue. So on a full red team, it would have enough swiftness to attack really fast. On a hybrid team, a bit off. I should try Sharon, link to him, and then 3 red units, maybe adding also yellowy for the extra attack speed. I can try that and see what happens. I mean, it's his best set, most likely, even though I prefer L in general. But uh, as I said before, in terms of damage output, any unit that is running L, if you swap to Sundance, it's more damage. It's just how it is because max HP damage is just so broken. But I still kept L as the preferred pick on a lot of units just because of how comfortable it is to use and because I cannot expect everyone to have crazy supports helping the DPS is staying alive. So that's the main reason. There might be more units. Some of them I did not include because they already had 5 ignition weapons listed. I didn't want to add a 6th one. Well, to be honest, I cannot add a 6th one by the way I designed the database. I was not expecting so many options to be possible on the unit. So on some of them, I just added an additional line in the description for the ignition weapon, but they were not really important ones. If they were, I would have removed one of the options to include Sundance. But yeah, these I would say are the most relevant ones. If you have some more that I kind of missed or forgot, let me know in the comments. I will check them out, and if needed, I will add them. But yeah, let me know in the comments how you feel about these changes. I think Sundance is now really, really massive for damage output. So I'm liking it. And also having some weird units be able to kill Shia Shia and Revolution Bomb was really, really fun to see. So I like this buff quite a lot. Not applicable to a lot of players because you need a good account so that you can protect your carries, but it's a good buff from my point of view. So yeah, looking forward to hearing from you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.